Good evening, Hepcats. It is September 16th, 2014, and we have a wily sheet of paper that is talking just like an animal. We are both here, Alfredo Esparza and myself, Vandal Drummond. The paper is walking up the couch, and it's nudging against Fredo. He has a best friend. And we are here to preach sobriety.
It's my notes.
Sobriety, yes, his notes. They come alive. That's the charisma.
I took notes this time.
The charisma of Alfredo Esparza. Anything he writes comes alive.
This is our first serious podcast.
Yes, this is our first serious podcast. No clowning around today.
Yeah.
It is well, actually, we have a ton of news, and this is going to sound like a pitch, which I guess it is, but even though we would never make any money from it, I am like a kid. I feel like a kid being so excited for the anniversary show this year.
Yeah. It's going to be huge.
Yes.
Plus, it's going to be free on, you could see it live online for free.
Yep, Terra.com.
Yep.
Terra.com.
Terra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got it right.
I actually spelled something right.
Yeah, it's going to be good, although you always run the risk that it might not work.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
cross your fingers.
I have a backup plan. I'm going to have something really fun planned just in case Terra doesn't work.
Really? What's your other plan?
Just kind of get some chill movies or something like that, get something good to eat, and just, hang with Elena, and, but...
Can you actually sit through the entire show?
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's not. It's only
No.
It's only 6 matches, so it's
You know
not,
what? I'm looking forward to just about
yeah.
everything. Even the matches that don't do anything for me, I'm not dreading. It's not like Atlantis and Ultimo Guerrero are the only.
And how about the big news that Thunder came back for the anniversary show in time for the anniversary show?
Why not just get John Strongman Anderson again?
It's weird because he was gone for so long, and then they bring him like 2 weeks before the anniversary show starts, and it's like, why? I mean, don't you want to pay these other guys, get these other guys a little rub for the big show? And it's like,
exactly.
No,
or
Thunder.
Why not have something where he just makes an appearance on the show and doesn't actually wrestle? Just like say, hey, this is who's
like have him be like the second for Ultimo Guerrero or something. Like, have him come in for a fall and like be the guy right there and let Atlantis kill him on a tope or something.
Exactly. Yes.
But no, they had to ruin it.
And
they put him in a match.
And
even worse, Sombra isn't on any of the matches.
That's a bummer.
Which is like the weirdest thing. Like, at least Massacre Dorada's on it, so
yeah. We were talking. You were saying Sombra might.
He might be the second in the tag match.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
As long as he's got a spot on the card somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't use. I mean.
Do you want to go through the card since every single match has actually something interesting?
Yes.
Well, the opener is Blue Panther, Cachorro, and Dragon Lee versus Felino, Puma, and Tiger. But there's a slight chance that it might be Dragon Lee out and Black Panther in for the Blue Panther family versus Casas family.
Okay.
But I'm hoping it's still Dragon Lee. But there's been a lot of people who have been confused and saying it's Black Panther.
Okay.
But it should be a good match either way.
Yeah, I dig Dragon Lee.
Yeah, and then we have the women's match, which is a Torneo Cibernetico for the Copa 81st anniversary. Okay. It has Goya Kong.
Rocks.
Estrellita.
Cool.
Marcela. Princesa Suhei.
Yes.
Amapola.
Yes.
Zeuxis.
Yep.
Not familiar?
No, it's not. If Amapola's in there, I'm there.
Dallas.
Amapola.
Dallas.
Okay.
And Tiffany.
Okay, that would be cool.
You alright with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Well, something I should say, we just got done watching some Divas on Hulu. And
the NXT show.
So, after seeing that, I'm really excited about this.
Here I'm telling Kurt, hey, check out Charlotte. And she's in there with Summer Rae. And, all they did was, this really basic stuff. And it's this isn't that good.
Yeah, and you should have seen it before you came back.
Oh, the match before that.
Well, because remember, you stepped out of the room for a second. And what you saw, it was when
Because she was doing something.
Had her in
the figure four headlock.
Yes. Yeah. Before that, it was
that bad.
The women's at the worst is smacking and grabbing each other's hair and just...
Yeah, you know, it's funny because this women's match at the anniversary show, everybody was complaining because Sarah Stock wasn't going to be in it, Dark Angel.
Yes.
And like I already knew ahead of time that she wasn't going to be on there because she had already mentioned she's not going to be... She's usually not in Mexico in September, like late September. And so she basically tells everybody, don't get upset. I'm going to be in Las Vegas that weekend. This week.
Yeah, she wasn't being missed by
so it's like don't get upset. But you know, everybody started complaining about Sombra's not on the show, and I'm like, Hechicero's not on the show. All these guys aren't on the show. I go, there's only room for so many people for an anniversary show.
And why complain when you have such a bitchin' show?
Yeah, and so the third match. Any more thoughts on the women's match? You don't really care.
There's two women in there that I really like.
Marcella and Amapola.
Goya Kong too. I think Goya Kong is really cool.
It's interesting because you basically have Goya Kong, who's basically the Brazos. Mm-hmm. You have Dallas, who's Casa's family. Mm-hmm. And then you have Estrellita, who's basically now the press department.
Yes, you were telling me.
So everybody's kind of curious if any of them will end up winning, if it's like a power shift in the promotion or something. And like, you never know.
From what you're saying, Estrellita sounds like she wields a good chunk of power.
Well, I think she's just a press person.
Okay.
It's not. She just handles that stuff. I think it just looks more impressive because we're not used to somebody like sending us emails and stuff like that. The third match is this is the match that has people kind of upset. It's Máscara Dorada, Valiente and Volador Jr. versus Euphoria, Mr. Niebla, and Thunder.
Yeah, okay. That's the match I'll watch with curiosity.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's a good match because the technicals are pretty good.
Oh, yeah, well, then you throw Thunder in there.
Euphoria's in there. Mm-hmm. You have Thunder, who sucks, and then you have Mr. Niebla, who's just comedy.
Yes.
And you know, it's weird, while they're doing like a Thunder versus Volador Jr. feud. Why, I don't know. But it's just one of those.
Man, one can fly, one can flop.
Well, you know, Thunder's been training with Satanico.
So this will probably tell the tale if he has the capacity to learn.
This also could ruin Satanico's career as a trainer.
This is true. Now, this is something I have to...
Although I don't know why it would, but, you know, it could...
not everybody you try to pump... Well, one...
You know how it is. Like, you can't teach certain people.
No matter how brilliant you are. Well, and it's kind of like funny how when people were arguing that Jerry Jarrett should not be in the Observer Hall of Fame because he fucked up TNA so bad. And, because there's one failure means that all those years of prospering...
Everybody has at least some failure in their career.
Yeah, exactly. And Satanico, I don't care if Thunder totally flops, Satanico is still
that's like
one of the coolest wrestlers I've ever seen.
That is like the least of his worries.
Is he having a rough time?
No, I mean Thunder.
Oh,
no, I mean that's probably his least impressive thing that's ever happened to him. Like training Thunder is probably like 1 of 1 million type of things.
Yeah,
you missed
now
one.
If Thunder looked even good, even passable, boy, I would kiss the ground Satanico.
Well, you know, I think the problem with Thunder is he was also cast as a technico, and he was doing a lot of high flying. Yeah. And he's not a high flying type of guy, and it's like, The fourth match is Rey Cometa versus Carbonario in a hair match.
Now I'm way.
That is going to be a good match. I think that might be the best match on the card.
I agree.
Rey Cometa is his third big match in like 3 years, probably. Like, so he's
because he had the one with Puma King in 2013, right?
2000 was it last year? Yeah, it might have been last.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was the year before that.
It was 2012.
Yeah, 2012 with Rush and Rush headlined that show.
Oh, how funny! I thought it was 2013.
Rush versus Terrible headlined. Remember?
Yeah,
2013 was Volador Jr. and all those guys.
But not the. I'm not talking about the anniversary show though. Wasn't?
Yeah, it was the anniversary. Puma versus Rey Cometa was an anniversary match.
Okay.
Yeah, mass match.
I remember the match.
And then they had a match afterward. They had his next big stipulation match was with teaming with Stuka last year.
Okay, gotcha.
With feuding against the Japanese team.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so. But that should be a good match. Carvanario's gonna this has been his big year. So
I'm high on that guy.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's really, really good. And this will be a cool hair match where the hair really means something.
Yeah. I'm guessing they're building Carbonario to like Rush. That might be like a hair match like in 2-3 years down the road.
They should. It's too bad Herodes Jr. isn't quite up to his level because
he's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone from CMLL. Yeah.
Is he? Where'd he go to?
Independent. Yeah.
Because I remember seeing just the two of them next to each other and just thought they look so cool.
Yeah.
But one of them is not like the others.
Yeah. And then after that, the fifth match is La Mascara and Rush versus Negro Casas and Shocker.
And I'm up for that.
For the CMLL tag team titles, which should be good just because Rush is in it versus Casas and Shocker.
Those guys have chemistry.
Yeah, La Mascara sucks.
Yeah. So. And I will say, obviously Shocker isn't what he was, but I still love watching Shocker. And
he really
stays around.
It's funny because if you look at him now, the last couple of years he was horrible. Mm-hmm. And he's not that good. Right. Now, but it's at least he's not horrible.
yeah, and
you know what I mean. There's a lot of worse wrestlers now. He's not the elite type of wrestler he was when he was younger. No. Yeah. But now he's kind of in that middle.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call him a guilty pleasure. He's not what he was, but he still has this awesome presence.
Yeah,
and it's like I said, lucha isn't meant for non-speaking roles like in the States, but. I've mentioned this on probably half our podcast, but when he was the corner man for the juniors,
and all those.
Oh man, Busca. I thought he came close to stealing the show from them.
Yeah, so he should be. It should be a good match. La Mascara is very bland, but what are you gonna do? You gotta see. I kind of look at it this way: La Mascara has to be in trios or tag team matches,
right,
with the other guys. To actually mean something, because he's the only one of the three.
And he's still going to be a third wheel.
Yeah, because he's the only one of the three who can't be a singles. Mm-hmm. La Sombra and Rush can work singles.
Yes,
they could do that stuff, and it's you got to throw in La Mascara somewhere. So, and then the main event is Atlantis versus Ultimo Guerrero in a mass match. Probably the biggest match since since Viano 3 versus Atlantis.
Yeah, was that 2000?
2000.
Yeah. It's funny. I think back on last year,
and that was what everybody expected last year, which is another reason.
But as soon as they said there was going to be
two more people in the
two more people, I said, I thought right away that it's not going to be
them.
And I thought either they're doing the stupidest thing in the world or the most brilliant thing.
Well, you know where I think they really screwed up was the tag match. Because remember, the tag match was really short.
Oh, it was
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe? And it's that's not what the fans went to go see. They should have done something where they made Atlantis Ultimo Guerrero look like they were going to maybe win. Well, I think they won, didn't they? Because that's the losers. The losers had to go. Or whatever, however it was. But had they made it look like these guys were actually there for more than 5 minutes, it would have meant more.
Yeah, and it is almost like saying, "Oh, let's do a quick match so these guys have their energy for the match."
Yeah,
and it's just. I enjoy.
Because they just killed the rest of the show afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was a good match. It was good matches afterwards.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed the show, but I think that's because I was expecting something like this to happen.
Yeah.
And I thought, I thought if they don't do the mask versus mask next year, they're really stupid.
Yeah.
And if they do the mask versus mask next year, we'll see if people will still buy it. And it sounds like they're buying it.
It's going to be there's still some tickets, but you know how it is. It's a walk-in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for people who can walk in.
Yeah.
Late.
Well, from what I've heard is everybody saying they're anticipating one of the biggest gates.
Yeah.
In a long time.
Well, they're charging a lot just to sit front row.
And
you're going 100% from what you pay every other Friday.
Yeah.
100% to sit in the same seat.
Did they ever jack up prices before?
I think they have. Yeah, I think they have.
But this is like concert
it's usually,
prices.
but it's usually for the anniversary they do that all the time. I think. Mm-hmm. But it's that's just a once in a lifetime type of show. So
yeah,
and
that's why, even if for some reason Terra.com crashed, I'd be content just knowing it's going to be on video. It's just
that match should be
such a great.
It sucks because now in Japan they don't show the whole show like they used to. Remember they used to have the 2-hour version of the show. They don't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. They might this year. I don't know, but at least you have TV Azteca and Fox Sports who will air part of the show.
Yeah, and I think
it sucks because if you don't see certain show matches, but I think if it's on Terra, it'll be everybody.
Well, and we've talked about this, and I remember even Steve Sims was talking about this in the podcast. Terra has a much better track rate than the iPay-per-views.
Yeah, they do. I mean, considering how bad the AAA iPay-per-views have been, like, just hard to get hold of.
I felt so bad for you that day when
I was like,
crashed on
man,
you.
fuck. Well, you know, the thing here, like, I think the matches, this is probably the first card. Like, I think last year I would have been more upset if it didn't work.
Yeah.
But this year it's like, I think the top three matches are really what I want to watch.
Yes.
I could live without. I mean, I've seen some of this stuff before.
You know what, lame undercards don't bug me.
It's not a bad undercard. I'm not saying it's a bad undercard. It's
Yeah.
just like, I don't really need to see the women's match.
Yeah. I'll watch it because Amapola.
Yeah. Oh, no, I like the women in this.
Crazy, but I just love Amapola.
You're still depressed because Princesa Blanca's retired.
I am bummed about that.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope she comes out of retirement sometime, but...
Yeah, so who are you picking to win the mass match, Atlantis or Ultimo Guerrero?
I don't know if they're messing with our heads. I think it's going to be Atlantis. The interesting thing is...
Winning. Atlantis winning?
Winning, yes. Now, the interesting thing is in one of the cities, is it Guadalajara, they're actually having a singles match between the two of them.
Yeah, today.
Now, I almost wonder if that's some way to...
They're booked like from now, well, ever since like they announced it, all the way through the end of September. Mm-hmm. They're booked in singles matches everywhere, basically.
Okay, so this isn't the only single match they'll have before the...
No, actually, no, because on Thursday they're having a singles match also.
I wonder if it's a way to just mess with the heads to have one of them go over really strong, and...
They're booking it like... Well, you know, they're doing that because that's what they do, like, for every, like, after a big show. Mm-hmm. Because after that, it's like, oh, I get to see this guy unmasked.
Oh, but
so
I mean before,
it's like no, I know, like before and after, either way, it's like
gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I'll say about CMLL is I really dug the swerve they did when Blue Panther lost his mask.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that was
that just a singles match? It was right.
Yeah, that was a singles match, and it's like everybody thought it was going to be one of these walks in the park.
Yeah.
Where, you know,
well, everybody just picked. Oh, Blue Panther's gonna win because it was Viano 5. It's
yeah, exactly. I thought
it's like Viano 5. I mean,
cashing in the match. Let's go home now. And
I'm surprised Viano 4 hasn't cashed it in.
Yeah,
I would like I always thought, like, if I was booking this whole thing ever since last year when Volador Jr. lost, I always thought, well, why don't they bring in Viano 4, have him drop his mask to like one of these guys to make him stronger, and then like then you build up to whoever the younger guy is.
Yes.
Like in 2 years, the younger guy wins the guy who actually won all these masks.
Yeah.
But it's
like if this is with what they did with last year's show, the tease, and the tag team, and then no Atlantis, no Ultimo Guerrero in the main. If they were planning that far ahead for this, then I'll say that was one brilliant move. If I don't know if that was the plan or if they were just trying to get all their ducks in a row, or
probably just wanted more money.
Yeah, but I'm probably living in dreamland here. But I remember people telling me, back when I first started learning about the business and stuff, that Vince McMahon would plan, Senior would plan runs way ahead of time. Like, he knew that he's going to bring back, like, Pedro Morales in 10 months, and he had planned exactly how long he'd stay there.
Yeah.
What he'd get the Intercontinental belt, and apparently he knew what would work, what plans would work for the future.
So
I don't think promoters really do that anymore, but I guess I'm kind of in fantasy land thinking that people still think that way sometimes.
So if you think Atlantis is going to win, what do you think he's going to do, like, beyond this?
I think he'll stay.
Do you think he'll defend? Is he going to headline that next year?
I don't know that headline, but
the mask. I mean, he's going to drop his mask at some point. Or you don't really think he's going to do?
Yeah, he'll drop it. I picture him dropping it.
When? Next year?
Well, again, if they're planning
because I mean they're planning every year, so I'm guessing there's going to be a mask or a hair mask.
Yeah, I think he'd put somebody over.
Like beat Ultimo Guerrero, and then like maybe drop his mask to like Sombra or Rush.
Yeah, give somebody a little extra push to the top.
Yeah, because I keep thinking Ultimo Guerrero might win it.
And I don't know how he's aged, but I mean, I remember meeting Atlantis, and in fact, I remember Bill Anderson. I said, like, what's this dude wearing a mask for? He had movie star good looks.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I keep thinking Ultima Girl would win.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, now the more that they've been, like, pushing him more and more, now I'm thinking Atlantis is going to be the one that ends up winning. And then he'll end up losing to Sombra or Rush.
It's always been my thought that Atlantis would win, but I can't say I put a lot of reason into it. I just...
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you just think might happen.
Yeah.
It's like, this is actually one of those matches where you don't really know who's going to win or lose.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't know if CML ever does this. Now, they wouldn't do it for something this long ahead of time. Because I know Pena sometimes wouldn't even tell the wrestlers who was going to lose.
That almost screwed up with that happened with Heavy Metal and Jerry Estrada.
Yeah, I heard that
he told Heavy Metal at the last minute that he was going to drop his hair, and he threw a fit. Yeah, and Jerry Estrada ended up having to. Was it Jerry Estrada that dropped his hair?
Yeah. I guess Costas was upset enough that that they just said, okay, we'll have Jerry Estrada win. So. It's weird to think he's a Costas. It doesn't seem like somebody in the...
He made the PWI 500. Did you see? I was reading that. I was looking... Because one of the LuchaWorld members handles... Well, I should just say it. Chris Zellner handles the PWI 500. Like, the Lucha stuff. He sends it in. Now, one of the things with PWI is that when you send a list... I've done it before. I've sent a list before. Mm-hmm. One of the things that... We're smart fans. We think as smart fans. Right. So we rate guys based on how we think. I think some of the, like, Cubs fan has done it also. Mm-hmm. And they would rate guys based on how good they are as workers. But everybody has a different view on who's number one, who's number two. And I would do it in a way where I would put, like, certain guys who are getting pushed at the top. But apparently they don't want that. They want you to put the guys who are name value or have who hold titles. So you always see Blue Demon Jr.
Yes.
Terrible, who's the Tejano Junior High, because they're the world champions for the promotions. Mm-hmm. But then, like, they'll have these really awkward guys. Like, basically what I do is I would only pick like 35, 40 guys, because not any of the... There's no point in writing 50 or 60. Just go with 35 or 40, because that's all it's going to get in. So I would put in like 35 guys. I would always make sure I'd have like 4 or 5 indie guys on there.
Yes.
They would never make it. But Heavy Metal, Blue Demon Jr., all these other guys would make it. And it's like, I didn't even pick these guys.
Yeah, well, the same thing. Remember when Kevin Kleinrock used to ask us for our...
yeah, well, that's where I would do it. That's why he would ask you for that.
Yeah, and I could always tell his response was like, well, that's some interesting choices.
Yeah, because he already knew more or less. It was an uphill battle. You're not going to get...
so I always wondered why they kept asking me.
Yeah, so it's like... I was looking through the list, and Heavy Metal was on it, and I'm like, how is Heavy Metal...
I can't...
In 2014, I mean, and I'm pretty sure he didn't write that guy's name in there. I'm thinking somebody else put him in. And
maybe they told Heavy Metal...
Unless there's a different Heavy Metal.
Or maybe they told Heavy Metal he wasn't in, he threw a fit, and Jerry Estrada said, my spot.
Maybe he paid Chris to be on the list. So we should be talking about Lucha Underground.
Yes, this has been one of the most interesting topics.
We're thinking of going to one of these shows.
Yes.
We might not be able to talk about the show after, because we'll probably have to sign...
We might not even be able to get into it.
Yeah, because we might have to sign paper or something that doesn't... The non-disclosure.
So we'll have to be ixnay until the show airs.
Although we'll probably say it anyways.
Now, explain why we were not at all excited about going, but now we are.
Well, they've been planning this for at least 2 years. Well, Conan told us about this in 2012, I think.
Yes.
So, but that was 3 years. That I think it was, when did they start talking about this? Finally, it was last year, right?
This actual incarnation, I can't remember. I just remember them talking about AAA coming here for so long.
Yeah.
But the El-Rey Network thing,
probably last year, I think. Yeah. So, they basically started... I know in January they started talking about, like, the name and all these, like, trying to get everything legal down. They're trying to come up with a name. They came up with they had 3 different names. They ended up with Lucha Underground, which, I mean, is fine. And then, like, they basically started in January, and then, like, they kept saying that they were going to start in the summer. I think in June I asked, hey, when is this show going to start? And nobody would talk about it.
Right.
July came. I asked again, hey, when is this show going to start? Nobody brought it up. Conan started talking less about it. And then, like, August, all of a sudden, you hear Conan went to a PWG show with a group of people. And all of a sudden, you like, I think the week after the Battle of Los Angeles, they announced that they put flyers at that show,
right?
And basically, like, they were starting like to get everybody to sign contracts, all these wrestlers to sign contracts, like immediately within a week. They're gonna start taping in September 6th, September 7th.
Now those contracts look like a boa constrictor.
Yeah,
just squeezing you out of any freedom to do outside
I think
shows.
basically what ended up happening, and I don't know, because Ricochet is apparently going to stop doing some other shows. There's something up with that, so I'm guessing maybe they really are going to like force that.
Wow,
you're going to have to be
somebody
exclusive.
Like Ricochet, I hope he's getting compensated.
Oh, I think he probably is,
okay.
But I mean, it's funny because they were going to bring in AAA wrestlers. The first set of tapings came out, and the first show I think was all Chavo Guerrero Jr. Where it basically was him wrestling like an early match. Then he came in and helped somebody, and then like attacked that person. Second show was like more Chavo Guerrero Jr. And everybody's like, man, this is just the Chavo Guerrero Jr. show. And where's
Maybe they were watching old Michael LaBelle tapes and saw all three brothers being pushed at once and thought, oh, that's how you do wrestling.
Yeah, so then it's like, where's all these AAA guys? Then we find out that their visas hadn't cleared. So
oh, that's why.
Yeah, so then
I wasn't aware of that.
That happened the week after. The week after the visas cleared, and then this past weekend, they finally showed up.
Cool.
Phoenix, Drago, and Pentagon Jr. were all at the show.
Wow,
they had a very good three-way match. What else did they have? They brought in Mascarita Sagrada. I don't know if it's the AAA one, or if it was the one that lives here.
Okay.
Because there's a couple midgets that live in this area, like the wrestlers, like the luchadors.
I never see anybody with a mask walking down the street. That's
well,
ridiculous.
you know what? I think they get more. They do a lot of. I'm guessing they do TV and stuff.
Probably,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there was who else? I think Mariachi Loco worked that show too.
Ah.
Remember we saw him at
I remember that.
He was under a different gimmick at the show that we were.
I can't remember what name it was. I loved because there were four.
We can't say it because it was a kayfabe.
That's right. It's a big kayfabe.
Yeah, we can't say anything.
All I can say is all all four of them had a great classic luchador look.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was I actually liked it better than their regular gimmicks.
Yeah, it was weird because those four guys. I mean, well, now we can't talk. Now do we have? Can we talk about it or no?
We've been so vague. Let's just not talk about it anymore. Just say we saw two luchadors under different gimmicks
that actually
that their different gimmicks were better than.
Yeah.
And we won't say where we saw those. So that's all we'll say.
So basically, they're taking this week off. This weekend they're not doing tapings, and then they're doing next weekend. So we thought we would go to the next tapings.
Yes.
That's the plan, right?
That's the plan.
We're gonna try to get a bunch of people to go.
Yep.
And we're all gonna wear lucha masks. No, just kidding.
No, I'm gonna see if I'll go on eBay and see if
Kurt is gonna dress as Lucky Pierre and see if he could get booked. Actually, I was supposed to.
I'm gonna go.
I was gonna tweet Conan and tell him that you wanted ISIS to be on the Yeti to be on the show.
Yeah. What could we still ask?
But I don't think he's well enough. I don't think he's answering a lot of tweets. He's because of the injuries and
Conan, if you're listening,
the surgery he had.
I'll let her squash me.
Yeah. So I'll
let her step on me.
Yeah. So
she'll smack me as long as people are watching. As long as people watch my humiliation, I'll be happy. That's all I'm asking.
So they're basically doing more lucha on the show now.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool. Yeah, so we are going to try to.
It was funny because people complained about all this stuff, and if you read the Observer, have you read the issue where they
went over the
where they talk about and all
everything.
Yeah. And he talked about how there was no AC at the show.
Yes.
So then Matt Stryker tweets out, "There's AC at this week," or like. And I was like, oh, they must have been fixing a lot of stuff.
I was going to say AC right now. For those of you who are not in Southern California, this has been wicked. I mean, I'm sure this is nothing compared to people who live in Nevada or Arizona. They're probably laughing at us right now, but...
no, dude. Here it's been like 100 degrees like every single day.
Yep.
We were at 2 lucha shows this past weekend, and we were basically dying. And actually, the first show we weren't that. It wasn't that bad.
Because
it was night. It was an evening.
Yeah.
But the show, the Legend show, I mean, geez. It wasn't that bad in certain parts. Like, you could get away with it.
And what was weird, I was so nervous in my match that I didn't even notice the heat.
Yes.
I was nervous because for the third year in a row, I was the oldest man in a 6-man tag.
I love how I was telling Dan Farron about how you wanted to work a match where you were not the oldest,
but
somewhere someone your age.
Keep up with them.
Yeah, and it's
keep up with them.
So we'll talk about that next. So,
we'll talk about that next. I would like to talk.
Yeah, because I think Lucha Underground, we really don't know much about because we haven't gone, but they basically using like all these ex WWE guys and the AAA guys. I mean, they brought in Hijo del Fantasma, who's going to be another gimmick.
Very cool.
It was funny because somebody asked me about it, like, so why is he using a different gimmick? And I go, well, Phantom is I think it's a DC Comics character.
It might be.
And I told him I don't think he can use that gimmick. You could get away with it in the 90s because people weren't so...
Well, if you're doing it on a smaller scale, too...
Well, no, because Global Wrestling had his dad wrestling.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Whistle Bill Irwin.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Isn't that interesting? Wasn't that like at 1 p.m.? Like it was at 1... Yeah. You show up from work or from school and
I
stuff.
remember that because... what were the people's names who did that? Joe
Pedicino and Scott Hudson
and
Bonnie Blackstone.
And I remember.
Don't you remember? I remember the first time I heard Bonnie Blackstone was Joe Pedicino's wife. I was like, "Holy shit, that guy has game, man!"
Yeah,
man.
Yes.
How the fuck?
What's so funny is I remember a lot of people held him in high regard, and then
just because he was married to Joe.
Yeah, probably. No, but I guess they thought he's a pretty straight shooter, and correct.
I dug that show.
If I'm wrong, forgive me, but I think he made up a story that he had a lot more financial backing that he did.
Yeah, he had the Africa. He was one of the first people that used the Africa, the millionaire connection.
Yes.
I think the South African or something like that.
It was really sad. Is about 2 years ago, somebody scammed an old roller derby star out of about $30,000.
Really?
Doing one of those backing in Africa, and
that's gonna happen to Jarrett.
It could happen to anybody. It's wrestling and roller derby's version of the Nigerian Prince.
You know what I dug about Global was like they would do that one little update where they would talk about wrestling from other places. Joe Pedicino would talk about WWE, and I was like, man, he stopped doing that afterwards. But like there was a period where he would talk about that. It's like, I always dug that, like for whatever reason.
That was cool.
But Phantasma was on that show. I remember that. I was like, man,
remember that match, and I remember that.
I just dug his look. I was like, oh, holy shit, this guy looks awesome.
And it was one of those...
Because it was still pretty good back then, wasn't he?
Well, and also with Bill Irwin, there are two different styles, and you could see he could work well with a different style. Yeah. I mean, not everybody can do that.
Yeah. I was like...
Although luchadores and Americans worked a lot better with each other... From my memory, in the 70s and in the 80s, style clash came.
He didn't disappoint me like Mil Mascaras.
Yeah.
Mil Mascaras sucked.
You do what I want, says Mil Mascaras.
I remember when I saw him in World Class, he was like, because guys, they had Mexicans on that, so it was like, he was still pretty good in that. But then when he did the WCW match with Cactus Jack, I was like, oh god, this guy.
You believe it or not, I never saw that.
You never saw that?
Yeah.
Because I like Cactus Jack. That dude was like, when he was young, he was like, man,
oh god,
really good. And he just had the crazy look. So
he had it down perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, let me talk briefly about the Legends show that
we should talk about the first show we went to, the Friday show.
Oh, the Fusion
Pro
Wrestling.
You didn't wrestle that day, so
no, I didn't.
It didn't matter.
Every other week, Fridays, Fusion Pro Wrestling. We'll put some more in.
But we almost got killed on a tope. So
that's
that
right.
was...
Who did the tope? Was it Profeta?
Cyber Rams.
Cyber Rams, okay.
He hit a tope on Profeta Jr.
That's right.
Yeah, and like...
He took the bump on us.
Yeah, and we nearly got killed on the tope. Although Kurt ran. Like, ran like a little chicken,
Yeah, Fredo caught him.
I caught him.
Reached out his hand.
I went like, are you okay? Actually, I didn't do that. Superboy's son caught me.
That's right.
That's
not a joke, too. His 13-year-old son.
Yeah, 13-year-old son.
Fredo.
Yeah. That should tell you how. Well, actually, he's pretty ripped. The kid's pretty ripped
He's 13 years old, and
he's got a young man's like.
He does. I mean, in the face, he definitely looks 13. Yeah. But when you see him move around stuff, he looks more like a 16. Like, he could get ready for junior varsity.
He really they have that little segment intermission where all the kids are jumping in the ring. As they're getting the kids out of the ring, he did this little spot where he just did a little flip in the ring, and I was like, holy shit. It was a really good flip.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, it was really good. Looking forward to him wrestling at some point.
Definitely. I've been hearing people I know who've seen him work out said that he's almost has it in the genes.
Wow.
You know, just
well, his two older brothers are really good.
Brothers. It's so funny how the two older brothers, like I said before, they look like, every time I see them together, I remember the Assassins, Tom Ernesto and Jody Hamilton. You know, and of course they don't know who they were.
I know. They're like, oh, thank you.
And you see his youngest son, and he doesn't look like anybody in the family.
Yeah.
He, you know. Yeah, the fusion shows are really fun. Oh, we got to bring up what happened at the show before that, where during La Golosa's match, for those of you who obviously have not seen Golosa, does a Lucky Pierre-like gimmick. He has
Exotico.
Pink bodysuit with a mask and everything, and he works the gimmick beautifully. You know, he's a little green, but works the gimmick well. Well, in the middle of his match, it was a tag match. Can't remember who they were working with, but we look at the door of the little arena.
Oh, this was last, like, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Not this last show, but the one before it. There's 3 firefighters standing at the doorway, and the first thing I think is, oh dear, zoning restrictions, show's shutting down. And they're just standing there looking like they're just kind of enjoying it, and then, I can't remember who it is, but somebody came up to Superboy and said, firefighter said you gotta close the show down. He goes, oh, okay. No, I'm just kidding, they're not. And
yeah.
So Superboy went up to kind of talk to him and just kind of make them feel welcome, hoping that'd be cool. And, they weren't there to bust it or anything. They just noticed there was wrestling and were just kind of taking a look. And they said, well, hey, can we get in the ring and just kind of wrestle around? And he goes, yeah, get in the ring. So they got in the ring. And then, I can't remember who it was who put one of the security put two chairs in there.
Yeah.
And then Golosa comes into the ring and gives them both lap dances and starts kissing them. And I give a great salute to our firefighters because they were totally cool.
Yeah, they were cool.
They were funny.
They gave the kids stickers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah, you know, the only thing is that those matches, the main events are wild at these shows.
They are.
Like, Superboy's wife was trying to get these guys to stop, like, doing all this, like, chair shots and everything.
And the reason they do the chair shots, they gotta pay for those chairs.
Yeah.
This is a shoestring budget.
Yeah, and it's like...
People, when you work for promoters and you know they can't afford much...
Acero Dorado, man. I mean, that dude is, like, just...
And he's like a longtime friend of his.
The chair shots, the chair shots
like
are
hard
crazy.
Chair shots, yeah.
I'm guessing he probably pays for it, but it's like...
I hope so.
It's like, man, like, poor guys, like... These are the type of shows that, like, if you hate chair shots or you think they're very, like, unsafe and everything, you probably shouldn't, like, be kind of...
But one thing I'll say, you know, of course, it's like just a little place and it's a small crowd.
Just a wild
But
brawl.
it's a passionate crowd.
Yeah.
People who go there love old school lucha.
That's crazy,
And it's something, I'll say, you know, the opening bouts are coming, you know, guys are pretty
hit or
green.
miss. They're hit or miss.
They're hit or miss, yeah. But there's always at least one really, really good match and a few good matches.
This past show had those two guys, Sean Black versus
what's the kid's name?
I can't remember.
The name we
Biagio Crescenzo.
Yeah, that was an awesome match.
Biagio Crescenzo. Pretty good. I think that guy's training at Joey's.
He is, yes.
I don't know if he's trained by Joey or...
Well, actually, I don't know if he's trained there, but I've seen him wrestle.
He's wrestled there, so... He's pretty good.
Another great promotion to check out is the Santino Brothers. Those are very, very good shows.
Yeah. Sean Black is pretty good, too.
That guy's awesome.
They started giving him the chocolate chant.
I know, both times.
Poor guy. He just knows, hey, you're black, you're going to get the chocolate.
Any Mexican crowd, you go,
Mexican crowd, chocolate. Or if you're a white guy, they're going to call you gringo or whatever. Güero or whatever.
Yeah.
So then Sunday, we went to the Legends show, where Kurt Brown got to wrestle as Vandal Drummond.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Technico Vandal Drummond.
It's weird. There wasn't it was like 108 degrees out there?
It was, but you know what?
It was hot. No, but I'm saying because that's why there wasn't as many people.
Definitely. Yeah. It was that.
Did you see on Observer they mentioned that you got a plaque?
I was really tickled.
Did you send that?
No,
probably.
I didn't.
You probably sent that.
No, the only thing I sent was some results.
So it must have been Dan.
It must have been Dan that sent it. No, I was. In fact, he just texted me a little bit ago to see if I saw it.
Yeah, because I thought, man, Kurt, he's so full of himself, sending that stuff. It's like everybody got a plaque. I got a plaque.
Everybody got a plaque. Yes.
I got one. I got one. I was like standing there like, what the
Actually, you should. You come to all these shows.
I know. I should get a plaque.
Yeah.
I should get an award. They had extras.
It is really nice that they do that.
It was cool. Like there was a lot of who was there? And Gran Coloso was there in
Brown
attendance.
Coloso was there. He was in attendance. He just had knee surgeries.
Yeah, I know, because somebody was asking me that he looked bad, and I go, and Dan was telling me that he looked bad, and I go, no, I think I saw him like a couple of weeks ago, and he was walking fine.
Yeah, no, it's just recuperation time.
Yeah, because we saw him at Superboy show, wasn't it?
Yes, we did. At,
yeah, like the last, not this past one, but the one before.
Yeah.
The firefighter one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the firefighter show.
Yeah,
That's
the
what we're
firefighter.
called.
That's what we're calling it.
No, but yeah. I mean, the shows each year, it's just like a good old boy reunion. And what's really unique about the lucha scene in Los Angeles is, I could picture communities like this throughout Mexico, like in smaller, in regional promotions and stuff. But I can't think of a promotion in the States where so many wrestlers have stayed connected for like generations, like since the early 70s, and some of their grandkids are wrestling, their children, even a few daughters.
Ku Klux Klan, the girls that were with him, I guess some of his daughters really attractive for an ugly guy, because he looks kind of ugly underneath the mask. I don't know what he looks like. Does he look? Is he ugly? Is he an ugly?
Yeah, he's not the best looking.
Yeah, okay.
Nice.
You don't want to.
Well, it would help if he didn't get gold fillings in his teeth that said KKK. It doesn't help.
I love how he's the KKK and he's like the most Mexican looking dude in the world. Like,
yes, exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
That's funny. That's so funny. I'm like, man.
Yeah, I know.
There were more. I noticed there were more white people at the show too. There was like there was at least 5 white people at this show. And we
met a few people. Our friends.
I tried to get all the white people to start a white power chant for the KKK guy, but they kind of refused. They refused. There was
the firefighters would have closed that.
Yes.
I tell you, the firefighters would have closed it down. Oh yeah, well
that was horrible.
Our friend Zachary, who we see at the Fusion Wrestling Show, awesome guy who is supporting a lot of the indie lucha. Yeah. And a gal named Lisa Gruber, who's I friended on Facebook recently.
Was she the photographer?
Yes. Oh. Very nice gal. And it's funny because these last 2 shows, the first show they just had me be a Technico, but the last 2 shows I said, please, Technico, because I was so scared. What if they decided, oh, you're Rudo, we'll team you with a KKK. No, even if it's a work, I'm not doing that.
It would have been perfect. Why are you guys so anti KKK, man? You white people, why do you hate the?
Why do you hate your fellow white person?
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because he comes out throwing tortillas and stuff.
Yes. I'd love to know
how he came up with that gimmick.
A lot of people. Well, I know where he got it from.
Where'd he?
Ciclo Negro used to do that.
But I mean, they're working in the Mexican. I mean, what does that have to do with the Mexicans, anyways? KKK, were they like against?
KKK hates everybody who's.
Yeah, but I'm still like, it's not like. Was it common? Like,
not.
That was more of a southern type of thing. Like,
it's southern, but you could ask Dan Farron. When he lived in.
Why should I ask Dan Farron about this?
Well, because he's a wizard. I mean, he's bright. He's brilliant. He knows about sociology and that kind of. No, when he lived in Riverside in the early '70s, he said it was a little unsettling to go into a liquor store and seeing on the community bulletin board that there will be a meeting of the Ku Klux Klan this Saturday night. So yeah, it did exist here. Not as prominent and stuff, I don't think, anyways.
Yeah.
But the one that got over way better than Los KKK was in 1987. They had the Migra.
Oh yeah, that was huge. And that was huge everywhere. I think the same guy must have done the work.
In fact, the two, an American guy and an Asian guy, did the gimmick in like '81. In fact, we got to ask Superboy more about those the guys. It was because it was an American guy who worked Hadco Plaza. I never knew of him doing anything else. Somebody said he eventually moved out of state, and I think he passed away in the last few years, but. That got good heat, but the great heat was in 1987 when Halcone and Halcone 78. I'll never forget this. Physico and I were at the Olympic, and Halcone and Halcone 78 face La Migra.
Oh, really?
And one of them I know was Superboy's brother, Gustavo. I don't remember who the other one was. But the first thing they did is they grabbed the microphone and said in a very Mexican voice. They tried their best.
Yeah.
They just said, "Good evening, wetbacks."
Good evening, wetbacks.
Yeah, and even though the fans knew damn well that they were.
I love how this is the most racial show that we've done.
Yeah, it is
yeah,
totally.
It's the most racist show that we've done.
Well, when you think of it,
it's wrestling.
Wrestling is
very lots of
stereotypical, and it was even more so in past decades.
Yeah,
This is the first. I mean, still a lot of stereotypes, but nothing compared to like when we were talking with Dan the other night. How somebody was complaining about stereotypes today in wrestling, and he sent them a photo of the Von Brauners and with their manager giving a Heil Hitler salute. yeah, family TV in the 70s, the old days. But no, I'll never forget.
We had two devils at the show too. I forgot.
We had Satan.
Yeah, we had.
In fact, I asked Dan to Photoshop a pic of me because
Photoshop
a pic of me trying to cure Satan of his evil. Like I'm lecturing him.
It wasn't Mr. Averno, because one was Mr. Averno. The other Satan. There were two Satans. You didn't know that?
The one with the horns was Satan.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
No, I only saw Satan.
Oh, you didn't see the other guy, Mr. Averno?
Didn't see him.
Yeah. Dan took a picture with Mr. Averno.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
I wanted him to take pictures with all the Satan. Like Dan with yes, just like keep taking pictures with all Satans. Come on.
I love it.
He refused.
But as soon as that match in '87, as soon as they said "Good evening, wetbacks," shit started being thrown in the ring.
Oh, jeez. And
they beat Halcon 78 clean. I kid you not, there was so much stuff in the ring, it was almost ankle deep. They brought back for a rematch 2 weeks later. And this was the last show. The Olympic Auditorium closed down for, I think, 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
And that was the very last event held there. And what did they do at that event? I thought, of course they're going to put over Halcon and Halcon 78. No. They had Halcon 78 do a stretcher job for La Migra. And even more crap was... I thought, those dudes are... All 4 of them are brave.
Yeah.
This crowd was... This wasn't just generic heat.
Well, they're having fun.
I mean, they knew damn well those guys were Latino. But, I mean, they were throwing stuff at them to, like, hurt them.
Yeah.
But that was the most over as far as a racial gimmick I've seen in independent wrestling.
So back to the Legend show.
Yeah, Legend
We should
show.
probably... I should mention the first match that you were in the second match, right?
Yes.
The first match... I don't remember who was in the match, but there was this one guy who was doing a tope, and he ended up landing short and falls like this. I've never seen anybody fall like this live. I've seen guys miss topes, but it's usually because they trip or something, or something happens. But this guy landed short, so the guy basically was standing maybe 4 feet away from the ring, and the guy just falls flat on the floor. Like, it wasn't even like him missing, grabbing the guy, missing part of it. It was just like him falling flat. And I was like, oh my god. You just see Superboy's kids going over to check on him, and a couple of other people, and then they're like, yeah, he's fine. And Dan turns to me and he's like, I think we've just seen our first death of the night. And I was like, yes.
Amazingly, I didn't know until after the match.
Yes,
because...
and I thought, and after I told you, I was like, man, good thing I didn't tell you. I didn't run over and tell you, because sometimes I'll do this at shows.
Yeah.
There's something that happens, I'll go to the back and I'll tell Kurt, you should have seen this match or something. Although I've stopped. I used to do that when we first started going to shows, because I had more access back then,
right?
With Incredibly Strange and all these other AWS when we would be at those shows. But now it's
well, the only reason with Fusion it is because the dressing rooms are so small,
and
just don't want
and then I don't want them to be calling me Physico and stuff. Although now I accept it.
Yeah, everybody mistakes Fredo for Physico
Nuclear.
So he's Physico Nuclear Segundo.
Yeah, so that's now our whole thing now.
That's right.
So then your match came up afterwards, and you were tagging with Toxic
Luchador and who was the other Hepcat I teamed with?
I have no idea. This was a lucha group.
Oh, it was Ray
Volcan. That's right.
Yeah.
We just saw him a couple of days ago. Yeah.
And we wrestled Lestat, Black Mamba.
Not to be confused with AAA wrestler Mamba.
Different one, yeah. And Malice. I think
Malice.
Yes.
We just saw him the Friday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted
it was funny because Dan thought Black Mamba was a famous one. Right. And I was like, no, I think you might be confusing it with the Exotico.
Yeah, it's a whole different
AAA. That's because he's the famous one.
Yeah.
I go, this guy, I think he's kind of...
He's a local guy.
Yeah, he's a local guy who's kind of starting out and everything.
Yeah. But...
Oh, he's been around for a while, I don't know.
What surprised me... Well, that's one of the things I liked is I wouldn't go as far to say he has clout, but all 5 of these guys wrestle a lot more frequently than I do. They're a lot younger than I am.
Yeah.
And they were a little surprised when...
Well, Lestat, I remember him wrestling Steve Payne, like, on those indie shows. Like
really?
Yeah, you would see, like, online and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's been around for a while. I actually thought when you were in the match that you were going to start with the big guy. With Black Mamba. Because it was, like, the bigger one.
I thought that would have made sense, actually.
But then, like...
I could have sold off.
But and then I thought, oh, it's going to be that guy. Kurt's in trouble. And then, like, when Lestat went in, I was like, okay, that guy's...
No, I want to say... What I want to say is... When they were surprised when I said I was a Technico, they... You know, probably because they saw I'm an American guy, it'd be easy, cheap heat. But, you know, they're all talking the match, and I...
Did anyone speak English, or...?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think maybe only one...
Lestat
spoke perfect English, so did Mamba. Ray Volcan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But they're all, you know, since they're comfortable, they're all talking in Spanish, and I'm just trying to follow. Never worked with these guys, and the thing I'm thinking is, like, okay, none of these guys are really my buddies, so...
You're screwed.
If they want to just get in there and blow me up, they can do it easily.
Because I think your first match on these Legends show was with, like, Mercurio Jr.
Yeah, the very first one was the 6-man that involved Mercurio and Superboy's
kids.
His...
Actually, just one kid. Yeah, Superboy Jr. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the second show was with Superboy Jr. and Indu, right?
Yeah, it was me. It was me and Superboy Jr. versus Indu Jr. and Augie.
Yeah.
Mercenary.
Yeah.
And on this show, I'm just sitting there thinking, I think I'm going to look really bad here. So and it was hot, my mouth was dry, and I was like, oh, this is going to be my worst match. And so when they finally looked at me and said, okay, here's what we're going to do, and I realized they were not only going to have me do the final dive, because they did one of those finishes where everybody dies on each other out, and I was going to do the final one, but that I was going to get in there with Black Mamba and pin him clean. And I'm thinking, are you sure you guys want to do this? I mean, this, you know...
This is your place.
Yeah, and he says, no, this match is for you. You know? Wow. Yeah, it says you're going over in this.
Wow.
And he specifically asked me to, nail him with a move in the ring and then give him a plancha. And I'm like, whoa. You know, and I don't know if they... know that I'm friends with Superboy or something, or...
Well, they know you.
I don't know, yeah,
I think they know you because you're probably... Well, you know what I was thinking? There may be, like, guys who might have seen you wrestle over the years.
Possibly,
because you've been around for a while.
But
and they might know from, like, whoever runs the shows.
And he said something like, you know, we're not regularly here at the cafe and stuff like that.
Oh, really? Because they're working that show.
Like, yeah, but I guess he says we're not here all the time, and, you know... Yeah, let's do this. And
that's a legend show, so like,
yeah, exactly. Maybe they knew how old I am.
Yeah. Like, you're the legend.
But no, they totally took care of me in there. Because I wrestle like once every couple of months. I don't train regularly. I know what to do, but I am rusty. And especially Lestat. Lestat just really just carried me through. Moves that I used to be able to do in my sleep, but he's really good at improvising.
I was expecting you to do like that Volador Sombra spot where they like hit the ropes and like do like
yes
a flip and everything. We weren't expecting that, were we?
The one thing I didn't tell them, believe it or not, I'm probably the only luchador who has never done a straight plancha to finish a match.
I was surprised when you were telling us that afterwards that was your first plancha.
And I'm almost embarrassed to tell the reason why.
Because I think you've done a plancha off the ropes, right?
I've done the plancha on the outside
off
of the
corner,
ring.
Right?
Yeah, as long as the person's standing up catching me, I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Or I did the dive outside of the ring. I did the pescado. I was supposed to do a plancha off the turnbuckle, but they were far enough away that I thought, I'm not going to reach them. So I ad-libbed into the pescado. But when the only other time I've done the plancha is when I'd wrestle somebody who would move out of the way, and I'd crash land onto the mat. But the reason I didn't do the plancha is I don't know why, but I was always scared I was going to mess up and hurt the person.
Yeah.
Even though everybody does it. And so I just got up there and says, well, here it goes. Please don't let me hurt him. And I landed just as I had hoped. And the reason I'm going through this long, drawn-out story is kind of hanging around the indie scene, and I'm focusing a little more on the American indie scene in Southern California. I can't speak for indie scenes in other states and stuff like that. I mean, I'm talking regional stuff, not like the PWG where they're having Ricochet and people like that.
It's guys who are like bigger names.
Yeah. I see so many people fussing about getting themselves over.
Yeah.
And just not realizing, okay, you're wrestling in a small arena. It's being videotaped, but I doubt anybody's going to be concerned if you went over in 10 years in Northridge or Oxnard. You know, I mean, and I'm actually surprised because, and for these guys who probably didn't know me from Adam, maybe they recognized me, but and they knew I wasn't going to carry
Rainbow Khan might know you. Wasn't
he does know me.
He was at that radio show with you.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Wasn't he the one that didn't talk? Yeah.
He was. Oh my God. What's so funny is in the dressing room, he's very vocal. He
really.
I think he just got mic fright.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they put the microphone, he just looked like frozen almost.
Really.
Nice guy, but I think he just got mic fright.
Oh.
But here's guys who, by all means, I should have been putting over, and like I said. They could have just made me sit in the corner, not do anything, and just do the match themselves, or just blow me up to show me. Much more talented than I am, but it was their idea to make me shine, and I want to thank them for that. And I mean, even though I know nobody would listen, anybody out there, if you're going to put somebody over, be proud to put them over.
Yeah,
make them look great, and it was refreshing to experience that. It's first time in a long time where somebody's like, well, I don't want my thunder stolen. Look, I don't think Vince McMahon is spying on the building right now. Don't worry, your phone lines are not tapped by Titan Towers.
Vince McMahon isn't in Oxnard looking for
exactly
CM Punk or John Cena or anything.
Yeah. He's not tapping your phone lines trying to find out if you're talented or not. He doesn't know you exist.
Then you got an award right after, right? Mm-hmm. Right after that.
Yeah,
it was
which is
everybody
similar to
got.
What they did the first year.
Yeah. I think they gave Bill Anderson an award to start the show, right?
Yeah, they called him like the Padrino of the event, the figurehead to honor.
Mando Guerrero, or was he? He didn't even show up. He was supposed to be there.
I didn't think he would. I didn't picture it. Jalisco was supposed to be there.
Oh, really?
Because they
had
him on the flyer.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you're right. It's probably the heat.
Yeah.
Because it was hot out.
Yeah, and people are like, man, who wants to spend a Sunday at a wrestling show?
Yeah, but me, since I've been going to Hadco Plaza since '81, I get so excited about these shows each year.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys there. Who else? Augie was there.
Augie was there, yes. Kayam and Enigma de Oro.
Yeah, they were there. They had a battle royal, which some of the guys were eliminated through the middle rope. So,
which we can forgive them, they're getting older.
Yeah, Mr. Averno was thrown through the middle rope, and I told Dan, man, he's not gonna. That doesn't count. He should be winning this. And Dan's like, come on, he can't go over the top rope. I'm like, come on, he should be winning this, Mr. Averno, poor guy. I mean, just so poorly out of shape. The guy who always impresses in these things, I don't know how he does it, is Enrique Medina.
Oh my
Dynamic.
God, that guy's amazing.
That dude is freaking, if he was in Mexico, everybody would be talking about him like Charles Lucero, Black Terry, Negro Navarro. This guy just has amazing stamina.
No, you're right.
Great worker.
And I gotta tell you, I wish you could have seen him 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was even better.
I'm sure when he first started, he must have been really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had been. If I was gonna guess, when I first saw him in '93, around '93, '94. When did I meet him? I met him in '92. He was helped booking shows and he wrestled on them. But he was just a great technical wrestler.
Yeah.
He did a lot more mat work than a lot of the guys coming up did. I remember there was one wrestler who told me back then, I'm being trained by Enrique Medina, going, how is it? And he goes, oh, it sucks. He just wants to teach you mat work before you do flying.
And now it's like that's what people need to learn.
They do.
Well, you always have to learn that.
And the same thing, this wrestler just went to another gym where they taught you flying before they taught you how to lock up, which is a big mistake. Yeah. But no, he's a good guy. And his son and sometimes his grandson are at the matches. Enrique Medina Jr. We've hung with him a lot.
Yeah, he's
at the matches.
But I mean, it's amazing because you see him and it's like, oh, this guy's like this regular looking dude. I think he's a barber, right? Or he has a barber shop or something.
No,
because he was wearing a shirt that said like a barber shop.
It could be. I know Bengali has a barber shop.
Yeah, and you look at him, it's like, man, this guy, like, what's he gonna do in the ring? Then he gets in the ring, and first of all, he's very good in the ring as a worker, but he also has career, like, knows how to work the crowd, like he knows how to do all the right stuff, and he's always a heel, like, which is he's the smallest guy in the ring at times,
and that's the funniest part is when I saw him wrestle years ago, he wrestled as a babyface, all technical moves. And I was going, dude, who did this guy learn from? You know,
he should be. I would if I ran a wrestling promotion, I would be booking him right now.
Easily.
He's so much better than a lot of the guys. Like
and he's no spring chicken. I mean, we're talking about an older guy.
We're talking about a guy who's like got to be in his 60s.
Yeah,
I mean, and I think he might be one of the better wrestlers in the area. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've seen some of these guys here, and it's like I'd easily put Enrique Medina ahead of like a lot of guys in the
it's interesting. I could only explain this in a vague sense. I'd have to really think about it to have it make sense. But when I remember first going to Hadco Plaza, you could tell how much discipline the guys had, especially the guys in the opening bouts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they never tried to steal the show, and every move was crisp. Like, you didn't see them attempting high spots they could not do, or they kind of sort of knew. They just did what they knew. And as the years passed, in fact, it was right around that time when I told you about that one wrestler who said, oh, all Enrique teaches is that. But the thing is, guys like Torito, Gil, Mondo Lopez...
Torito, the midget from...
No, but this dude was pretty short.
Yeah.
He could still...
And either way, I mean, Torito, I think people who listen to the show know that the Torito I'm referring to, the WWE one, is a really good worker, too. This guy was a shorter guy from Guatemala. He could still kick my ass big time. Yeah. But no, I remember, I mean, Saturdays were beginner's classes, and that's because you taught to roll, you taught to bump, were taught the most simple stuff until you could do them in your sleep. And the thing is, when there were more gyms opening in the 90s, when guys saw, oh, we could just cut all the mat work and learn how to fly right away. Yeah.
They would go there, and I think in the long run that there's something sorely missing from guys.
You know who else has really impressed me? Capitan Oro.
It's amazing how good he still is.
Like he's not the high flyer. I don't think he was ever a high flyer, right?
No, he could.
He's just an ass kicker. He's just like somebody who just like goes in and chops. People are like just hits hard. Yeah. Like I can only imagine what it's like to wrestle him. Like you must come out of that like hurting in pain.
He's got a bit of Al Murray. Definitely.
But I mean, like he walks in and like now that he's older, like your body's not as like he could be.
He doesn't look like he's.
Yeah, he looks like he's and he's still really good. And I'm like, man.
The one that he wasn't on the show, but Principe Indu Senior.
Yeah.
That guy is in astounding shape at his age.
Yeah, they've been wrestling a lot more because of Superboy promoting.
Yeah. And
Triton and Piloto Nuclear looked good too.
They do too. Yeah. Yes, they do.
They've been wrestling a lot more often lately too.
I mean, they're both those guys. Triton and the Piloto Nuclear are two guys who were on the very first Hadco Plaza show I saw in '81. So
really? It's
so funny. You know, I'm chatting it up with them, but at the same time, even after all the years, I'm going, damn. I remember taking pictures of these guys, and
it's funny when you see Piloto Nuclear showed up. And Dan's like, and he was staring at us, and he was just looking at us. Mm-hmm. And Dan's like, do I know that guy? And I go, I think you probably do, but he probably doesn't. I don't think he probably remembers. He's just looking at you like, trying to remember where, and they're both, and he's staring at me, and I'm like, yeah, I think you've met him and stuff, but it's not one of those people that you're going to remember.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, but I remember him because I think every time we've been at Superboy show, he's been working the show.
Yeah. I remember the first thing he ever said to me.
What?
Well, I was sitting in the front row in Hadco Plaza with my big bleached blonde hair and a big thing of beer that was as big as I was, and he took a bump out of the ring, and he just looks at me and goes, "Have a drink." Yeah, here you go. And they did the babyface thing where he takes a drink and then spits it in the heel's face to start the comeback.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of good workers here.
Yeah, there really are. There really are. And the ones who are learning from the veterans, I think, are the ones who are going to benefit from it the most. Yeah. You know, so I'm glad there's some good guys trained.
Anything else from the weekend that you wanted to talk about?
Not really. That was it.
You got your picture taken with Satan.
Yes, I did. And I hope I can get.
I got my picture.
His ways.
I got my picture taken with Satan, or as
I'll say, Benny Hine, eat your heart out. I'm going to reform the devil.
Dan, I got my picture taken with Satan, or as you would like to know him, refer to him as Dan Farron. I love how Dan starts posting all these pictures on Facebook, and everybody starts liking them
right away.
And it's like right away, it's like I'm looking at his phone, sneaking taking a peek into his phone, and I just see all these like red marks. Man, you guys must have all these people. I don't have that many friends on Facebook.
I have many.
Mostly because I don't really friend a lot. I have to know you. Like, if I don't know you, it's like, I don't know this person. How am I...
The only time I turn down a Facebook request is when I find they have like 5 friends and they're all guys and there's only one picture of that person. Yeah. It's one of those, I don't know, it's the one.
Yeah, it's just like, I have to know you before I like, more or less.
Well,
this is going to be a big weekend this week, so.
Yeah, well, let me talk briefly.
You were going to talk about,
Peucelle.
Yeah, we were talking about him passing away recently.
Yeah. Everybody knows whether they like it or not.
Do you want to talk about Dave Meltzer getting your info wrong?
Nah, that was minor. It was just like 2 little facts, but...
2 little facts that now I know. And
exactly.
I'll be complaining about it.
Yeah,
but you know what's weird is like, you think about it, because when you know something that's real, you're like... That's not how.
Both you and I have had that happen. And I figure I think he must read it over too. So
well, you know, I was on the wiki page this past week.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for Girl Maya Jr. info. Just for some whatever reason, I was looking for that. And on Wikipedia, it still says that he's the son of Black Terry.
Oh, does it really?
Yes, and I'm like, he's not his son.
That's funny.
I've already told thousands of people. Yeah. I asked the guy. He explained it to us. You were there.
Yes, I was there. I saw it.
You saw him tell me. He said that he was just friends. He was good friends with the family. And I'm like, and then I go on Lucha Wiki, and they kind of say that he's not. But then it's like, you guys met the guy. Why don't you guys get to ask him just if you want?
Well, and that's a pretty major fact.
Yes, it's
with this stuff with Meltzer's typos.
Meltzer's typos are like, you know.
Well, one thing, he's writing these, in his defense, he's writing these lengthy stories about something big, and I'm sending him. In Argentina, it was huge news, but you know, it's a here and there news for Observer readers, and I can tell he probably just copied off real quick.
Yeah, his typo. I think his typo. The one typo he got wrong on something I sent him. Later on was like revealed that it was right anyways. So it's like it didn't matter.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, but then there was another one he screwed up afterwards. I think it was the Santo one that he screwed up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know.
And with all the reading and researching and stuff, they're going to get something wrong here and there.
And like I say, I don't send him a lot of email or anything, so it's like I don't really worry about it.
Yeah, and I'm sure I've messed up stuff too, so I'm not going to...
Yeah, you mess up all the stuff I send you.
That's right. Well, I write fiction. I write... It was not meant to be factual.
I'm sure
like that one politician said when they said that Planned Parenthood, like, something percent of their work is abortions, and when they were called... No, that's not true. His aide said, well, that comment was not meant to be factual.
It's like the one time I did the LuchaWorld 100, and I accidentally wrote Hector Garza's height as 4'1". And I didn't see this.
The mightiest looking mini in the world.
So then this guy made this big deal about it, and I'm like, dude, it's a typo, relax. So I went back and I fixed it.
The only time I made a mountain out of a molehill was when, you know, people were talking about, like, which wrestlers use their real name. And
I still find that weird, like, some of the stuff, like, when you write the wrestlers' names. Yeah. It's just weird to me, like...
Yeah, well, you know, Dr. Jerry Graham was born Jerry Matthews. However, his name was legally changed to Graham when he was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And it's so funny how somebody actually said, well, he wasn't a real Graham. And it was printed in Meltzer's newsletter or something. Oh, no, his real name was Jerry Matthews. And I wrote this big response. The main reason I did it is I never got the whole story, but I do know that whoever this Matthews guy was ditched the family.
Yeah.
Because I was confused when Doc would talk about his parents. He loved his mom. And he'd get wistful about losing his dad, but then there's other times I'd hear him say that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And I realized, after all, he's talking about two different dads. And I realized the adopted dad was the one who actually took care of him.
Oh, okay.
And so I thought, I bet you he wouldn't like to, have the...
Yeah, you don't want to remember.
So, and to
it's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, and to Dave's credit, when I corrected him, he did write something on it.
Yeah.
And I know he did it because, I thought...
And Dave usually is good about correcting stuff.
Yeah.
It's just weird because I think what the weird thing is now is that we live in an age where everything gets corrected right away. Because if you have a website, you could update it. Like, as soon as somebody tells you fix it, and Dave still does the newsletter in a way that it's still... If you send him a correction... Mm-hmm. He corrects it on the newsletter the week after.
Yes.
So exactly. Then you have that person simmering for a whole week, bitching and moaning about it, and it's like, dude, he'll fix it in a week. That's how the newsletter. That's how the newsletter works.
Yeah,
and that's how.
Yeah,
it
and
is.
also, what happens in the media is, since news happens so fast, so often people rush to get a story.
Yeah.
And the story is incorrect. Like, there was the Columbine situation where some kid made up a story about this gang called the Trenchcoat Mafia.
Yeah, that was like the big...
That was all fiction.
Remember,
but it was presented as fact for a long time.
And then everybody was wondering if Sting was going to stop wearing the trench coat. And
right,
stuff like
exactly. Yes. And when I do remember actually hearing when Gabrielle Gifford got shot, I remember actually hearing on the news they announced her death. And it's because they wanted to get the...
they wanted to
be first in the story.
Breaking news.
Look what happened,
Yeah, she survived.
And that happens more often.
That's still one of them.
And in wrestling, it's more trivial stuff, but,
Yeah, well, with the Ancho thing was, you said,
I think as I recall, I think I said he was a peer of Colosso Colasetti.
And he said he was
I think he said he trained him.
Yeah, trained him.
I better go check. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he said something different. I think he said something different.
Yeah, and there was one other tidbit that I can't quite recall that was different.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up again.
Yeah.
But,
he always gets the TNA stuff right. Anything else? He doesn't care about Lucha
if
or
I was going
Argentina.
to write about TNA, I'd purposely write everything wrong.
Did you see Grantland? You know that website, right? Grantland?
No.
It's a website done by Bill Simmons, who works for ESPN.
Uh-huh.
They did this big write-up on TNA, Will It Survive? And I'm like, dude, you're going to write about this in 2014?
Yeah, really.
And apparently it's really long. And I was like, I was going to read it, but then I was like, do I really want to read about TNA?
I'd rather about...
It wasn't the Masked Man that wrote it either. It was you know who the Masked Man is. It's
No.
You don't know about that.
I don't.
Kurt doesn't read about sports, so he doesn't know about Grantland and all this other stuff. So.
Sports are... that's one thing Brian Alvarez and I have in common.
Well, Brian Alvarez
sports.
read it, I guess. He must have read it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like sports.
Yeah,
but
it's a wrestling. It's a wrestling because they put a lot of wrestling. Because Bill Simmons, he's a sports guy, but he's also he's a big wrestling fan. He's from the 80s.
See, I dig sports wrestling.
Yeah, he was an Observer subscriber and all that. So
that's cool.
Yeah, he's an asshole though. Let's go back to what you were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Before I get go on a rant on hating on Bill Simmons.
Yeah, I'm gonna make.
I'm still pissed at Jim Cornette, by the way.
Yeah, you hear that, Jim Cornette? We're calling you out. Well, not really. But
actually, I'm okay with him. I'm kind of calm.
He's okay with you. Yeah. Don't worry, Jimmy. Jim.
As long as he hates Vince Russo, I'll be okay with him.
You know what? I'm with you on that one, Fredo. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Totally. Yeah. Totally.
Okay, go to your story.
My story. Okay, now I want to write probably in my next musings column on the LuchaWorld website. I'm not going to commit to when that will be.
It was supposed to be this week.
I know, totally.
But
let's see how much energy I have when I get home.
Kurt's already forgotten about that.
I have some coffee in me. Let's see how much energy I have when I get home tonight. We'll see. Oh, God, I'm going to kick your ass. Oh, bad.
Okay, let's go to it.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, Kurt.
But I do want to briefly, I want to write more on this later, but when I started watching Titanes in El Ring in 1973, early 73, I'll never forget the first time I turned it on because it went head-to-head with Channel 13 Wrestling at 8 o'clock.
Oh, really?
And I saw there was Lucha Libre on Channel 22.
Did it piss you off that it was on at the same time?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes.
They hadn't...
This was pre-VCRs and having...
Yes!
Families having extra TVs and everything.
And you didn't have remote control.
Yeah,
you had to run up to the TV and switch the dial... And you know,
it's so weird how many people listening to this podcast never had to deal with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Although I'm guessing a lot of the people
or have to play with the different antennas.
Yeah.
UHF and VHF.
I remember there was a period in time in the 80s where they would air Mid-South Wrestling at the same time as the NWA show. So I was like, fuck, I have to pick which one I want to watch. And usually that was easy because Mid-South always had really good matches.
And
NWA
was little thing. It was anxiety.
Yeah, so it's like you're changing the channel every commercial break.
Yeah.
And you'd be pissed because the commercial breaks were on at the same time. It's like,
exactly.
Fuck.
Well, I remember I started watching KCOP, Channel 13 Wrestling with Blassie and Tolis in 72. And at some point, Channel 22 has said Lucha Libre.
Could you imagine people listening to this right now? They're thinking, like, you were picking between something that had Fred Blassie and who was in L.A. at that time?
Victor Rivera, Raul Mata, who was my hero. Yeah. Well, that's where I differ from everybody.
Yeah, but the bigger names, like they were like the bigger names.
Oh, huge names, yeah.
And then you're picking the chance to see the Fire Ant. So versus Martin Cardigan.
Well, what's funny is I remember the first time I even tried watching the Channel 22 stuff was
the Shepherd Kid. Or what was
David David El Pastor.
A
friend of mine, I like his wife. I liked her name for him better, the Bethlehem Boy.
Yeah,
as she called him.
You're picking that over Blassie and all these guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time I watched wrestling on Channel 22 was when Channel 13 Wrestling was preempted, and it was straight Lucha Libre from someplace. Had a singles match and a tag match, and it was straight Lucha. I'd love to know where it was from, but I was 10 years old.
Yeah,
you just think about it. It was great, some great stuff. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to watch this regularly, but this is good enough that I think during commercials I'm going to switch to Channel 22. So early 73, I'm watching Channel 13, and I got to tell you, I mean, L.A. wrestling has some really exotic stuff, like Freddie Blassie, a bleached blonde with a dark tan, filing his teeth. You know, to somebody who just discovered wrestling, it's pretty exotic.
Yeah.
But probably the most exotic thing I saw was a wrestler called El Psicodelico. And the only reason I knew it was trippy is when he was
in the brother, right?
Yeah, the brother of
Mil Mascaras and Dos Caras.
Yes. And the only reason I knew how trippy it was, one, his mask was trippy looking, but my brother and sister walked into the room. Did we just hear somebody introduced as the psychedelic man? And I said, wow, I guess that is pretty trippy, but when I...
Was he dad back then, too?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Because he had a cool mask.
Yeah,
I dug
very
the mask.
cool. He had one of the coolest masks ever. You know, and met him, he's a nice guy, too.
Yeah.
You know. But, so I turned to Channel 22 during a commercial, and the very first thing I saw was Peppino the Clown with the bouquet of balloons coming to the ring to his music, and my jaw just dropped. I said, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Whereas Kurt would watch that, I would actually change the channel and watch the other show.
Well, I did initially. I said, this is stupid, a clown. And then as time was passing, I thought, are they all clowns on this show? And I turned it, and then I saw La Momia, the mummy.
Well, you know, the thing is, I can't really say that because I would tune in to watch Trio Fantasia, so...
Oh, I'd watch them together.
Yeah, so it's like I can't really say that I would change it.
And slowly I got seduced into Titanes in a Ring, and what seduced me into it was, the guy Juan Dos Santos who played the mummy back then. This wasn't just some funny little mummy. He actually played it and the costume was creepy. And I saw all these gimmicks like Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, all with personally written theme songs. I think Cara de Guiana was the first person to have songs specifically written for wrestlers. Yeah. But as I started watching regularly and as I became an unabashed fan of what my friends and I called clown wrestling, that's what we referred to it as back then. We weren't old enough to call it LSD.
Now we call that Impact. Not just kidding.
Totally. So the only thing stranger than seeing all these strange creatures like Yolanka the Spaceman was seeing somebody like Ruben El Ancho Peucelle, who was a very good-looking guy who was probably in his late 30s at the time, but looked a lot younger. Very good chiseled physique, you know. In fact, when I was cruising on Facebook a few years ago, I saw a lot of pictures of both him and Colosso Colasetti both posing together when they were in the bodybuilding scene.
Wow.
I don't know if they had already started wrestling or not, but I thought the only thing stranger than, you know, clowns and spacemen and mummies wrestling is to have actual straight wrestlers in there. And he was like second most pushed next to Cardigan, because Cardigan was like the IWA world champion Mil Mosquers forever.
Oh, jeez.
Cardigan always had the world championship, but Peucelle was such an invaluable babyface that he was like given the eternal national championship.
So the number 2 guy.
Yes, and the song even lauded him as the national champion, so you knew he was always going to keep it, or they'd have to change the song.
and it's not that easy.
And the other thing that even at a young age, before I really understood what working was, I could tell when I saw wrestlers like Peucelle or Joe El Mercenario or Benito Durante that these guys were classically trained wrestlers. Like, they knew how to wrestle. And there were other guys like Don Quixote who, it was just the gimmick. And as the 70s passed into the 80s and a lot of the older wrestlers started retiring, you saw a lot of guys who were kind of taught a hip toss, a headlock, or something like that, and boom, they were put in the ring. It looked terrible, but it was still wildly popular. I mean, it was huge. It, you know, it never lost mainstream status. But getting back to Peucelle, I'm going in 5 different directions here. But the thing I remember about Peucelle was just how he was like this really classic babyface, and I remember even my friends, when, you know, who didn't know wrestling from anything, they'd see all these wild, kooky characters, and they'd say, "I think I like this guy the best. This guy, like, yeah, he looks like the friendliest guy in the world and stuff," and he could work. And when he was in there with a really good worker, you know, you'd never have classic Ricky Steamboat matches. They didn't believe in lengthy matches in Titanes and El Ring.
They were like 10-minute matches, weren't they?
Yes, sometimes even 2 or 3. Yeah. You know, it was all the gimmick in that show. Yeah. But the interesting thing is, this guy was probably the most enduring wrestling celebrity, aside from Cardigan, who, from the time he started in the 1960s up until the promotion 100% Lucha, he was always had his feet in wrestling. He was always involved. And in 100% Lucha, I saw a few YouTube things where he served, I think it was like a commissioner type role.
Oh, really?
He comes in to reverse a decision.
Yeah. Because that's usually what happens with older wrestlers. They become like the commissioner.
Exactly.
The figurehead.
Exactly.
The figurehead.
But it's funny because a lot of the Argentina wrestlers kind of, once they retired, they'd show up for if they had autograph signings or that kind of thing. But, you know, most of them just kind of bowed out. Yeah. And this guy really endured all throughout Argentina history. And, you know, I guess I'm kind of like getting sentimental because, like, this was one of the wrestlers that I first started watching when I first watched wrestling at 10, and I bet you anybody who started watching wrestling as a child will tell you there's nothing like that first year you discover wrestling. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's like that's when you're most into wrestling.
Exactly. Even if you don't remember the results or anything, you remember who just struck you. Yeah. And it was so funny because Ruben Peucelle was like the Douglas Fairbanks to the Keystone Cops. You know, he was the straight man in a promotion full of oddities. And whenever Titanes and El Ring would, you know, go on hiatus, or if, you know, the promotion shut down here and there, He always had work in other promotions, and he always came back to Titanes in El Ring.
Was he mostly just in Titanes?
Yes.
Not.
Although there was a promotion in Paraguay called Lucha Fuerte, where, from what I read, it sounds like, he was like their main star, but it sounded to me like he was also spearheading the thing. And it didn't have as long a run as Titanes in El Ring, but it was one of the promotions that had its day in the sun. No promotion, I don't think, is ever gonna hit Argentina the way Titanes did.
Yeah.
And one of the videos that really struck me, because when I heard he passed away last week at the age of 81, just got home walking his dogs and just had a heart attack. And not a bad way to go.
That's the.
Yeah, I
other than dying in your sleep,
yeah, exactly.
That's probably the best one.
Exactly.
The best way to.
Still was with his wife, and had one son, a son who incidentally played El Hijo de la Momia.
Oh, really?
Once, yeah. La Momia came to the ring with a little kid, and it was Peucelle's son.
Oh.
And the little mummy tries to interfere in the match, and the big mummy has to push him back to the corner. Like, no,
we gotta have him wrestle. We have to have him wrestle Panterita Steak.
Yes. Oh, that would be bitchin'. Do you think Superboy would go for it?
Get a little mummy.
Yeah. Oh, that would be bitchin'.
Well, we've been trying to talk Superboy into getting like midgets dressed as like mascots. Remember, like
I love that idea.
As a Que Monito.
Yeah, totally.
As a parrot or something.
Yes.
We gotta bring that to LA, like some of these guys.
That would be bitchin'. Totally.
How come we can't get like a midget to dress like that?
We gotta find a midget first.
Duh. We're in LA. Come on. It shouldn't be that hard.
But anyway, it's like when I heard that he had passed away, it was, I immediately went on Facebook and, since I have a lot of Argentine Facebook friends, wow, just looking at all the tributes they paid to him, and not just that, but on YouTube I found news links where, like, major stations covered his death. One even had an 18-minute piece on him.
Oh, wow.
Which blew me away. A lot of it was outside his house after he had passed away, talking to some of the surviving wrestlers like Jose Luis, who was another guy who was like the straight man to the, odd wrestlers. And, kind of an end of an era. I wish I could put it better into words, and I hope when I write about it, in the next musings column, I'm just going to make a brief mention of it, but I eventually want to do
the next musings column will be available in November.
Now you challenged me, Fredo. Now you challenged me. You challenged me. Do you know what you're doing to me?
It took you how many months to do the first
musings? You know how early I have to get up for work tomorrow? Now I have to go home and write a musings column just so you won't show me up. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Lord, how I scrawl. Apologies to Mike.
Apologies to everyone who's had to hear you complain about writing.
Apologies to 5 neat guys.
Who's that?
Check out the photo of you, me, Billy, Superboy, and Dan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I got to put a video up to show why I said apologies to 5 neat guys.
Did Dan post the videos of you wrestling?
He posted my little high spot with Lestat, and then he posted the one where he says, "Vandal Drummond, how did you win the match?" And I go, "I don't know."
That was when I said, "Oh, he's gonna." Oh, that was the one where he didn't catch the part where I said, "Now he wants out" or something.
Oh yeah, after doing those high spots,
yeah,
said, "Now I want out."
Yeah, like look, he wants out.
And you know what? You know me well.
Well, because I thought, man, because I remember you had told me you want to work with the older guys in the match, and then all of a sudden
I don't train that regularly. Yeah, it's like rusty.
It would have been scary if it was like the like more like the younger guys who are really like fast.
Oh God, I would look terrible. And a lot of us nerves too. When I don't get there, since I only go in every couple of months, I get a case of nerves, which I never used to.
What's going on? Is Rosa Salvaje still around?
Yeah, I saw him at the last Legends show, and surprisingly, he looked pretty good for somebody who had a stroke. He says he's not going to. He said he's not going to wrestle again.
Okay. I was wondering what's up with him.
But he looked a lot better than I had heard, which made me feel good because he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet. Yeah. Very nice guy. I bet there's a lot of guys
that just came up with right now because I was thinking about Because he used to be in the Arena Paraguayo.
That's right. He was a regular.
Yeah. I remember thinking, man, this guy's awful.
He is. He worked the gimmick well.
Yeah. But he was older too. I mean,
he's an old guy.
Yeah, he was an older guy. So it's like,
his prime.
yeah, and also because Golosa. I remember Golosa kind of has that same hair as.
Yes, exactly.
I was just thinking about that right now.
Now, Golosa, as I understand it, means the insatiable one.
Something like
that. That's a great name.
Watch it not mean that, and it's like, oh, you can't hold it against me. I don't know.
Yeah, it means the scholar.
Yeah, it's the scholar.
One.
Actually, I can look it up.
We're going to look up something here, since we have the power of
we're still doing this
media.
podcast, despite the fact that we probably should have been done like a couple of times.
I know, really.
We were almost done.
Any of you out there who have lasted this long, email me at Liger, Lyger, at AOL.com. Just say that you told me that you're still listening at this point, and
I love...
And I don't know, I'll send you something nice. A small token, but something nice.
I love how the Urban Dictionary says Golosa means someone that loves to eat and pig out.
Well, I guess it's a gay gimmick where you could eat, or... Well...
No, it means something else.
Well, somebody who pigs out could probably be called insatiable, but people who want a lot of sex could be insatiable, too.
Yeah.
So, maybe it has, like...
That's double meaning, probably.
Yeah.
It would be so much easier if I would have had my laptop.
Yeah.
But now I have to wait for this.
We have one of these little mobile phones.
It's an iPod.
Boy, whoever is still listening to me, I'm impressed.
How long has this show been going, man?
Yeah, it has been going a long time. Longer as
we should just
hour and 30 minutes.
We should just keep going and see who lasts this long.
Well, that's why I mentioned my email. Anybody who listened long enough to hear my email, yeah.
Greedy, Golosa.
Greedy?
Someone with a sweet tooth.
That makes it even better. He has a sweet tooth for young men, is what he has.
Yes, a person given to exes.
That's great, great. So yeah, that's a good...
I'm guessing it means something different if I found it, if I was using Google Translator. I'm too lazy
if you heard somebody use it in conversation, it might make more sense. So. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess 90 minutes, that's how long KCOP wrestling was when I was a kid. So since I'm such a 90 minutes and often live.
You know, the one time I really got annoyed with when they would do that whole thing where they would show wrestling at the same time from two different places, when Nitro started. Because I was getting, it was Nitro and Raw was on, so people would always pick, and that's what's happened. What I noticed with a lot of people here in LA, they picked Raw over Nitro, because they didn't know anything about Nitro. I was like, how do you guys not know about these the luchadors? And I would tell these people, you should be watching WCW. They have good undercard matches. You could switch over to the other thing, to the Raw, but watch the undercard. And they were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this Rey Mysterio guy."
Yes,
and
exactly.
Like, dude, seriously.
Yeah, I know. I knew people who, I knew one gal who didn't understand what all this wrestling was, and she saw a TV match with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, and she says, "Oh, now I know why you guys do this stuff." And she would watch regularly too after that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for putting up with us, folks. Thanks for enduring this podcast.
As Kurt has said, if Atlantis doesn't win the match, he will shave his head.
No,
And if you've seen his hair, he has a lot of hair. So the barber will be getting plenty of hair.
If he loses, I may
shave
or may not leave town for a few minutes.
No, Kurt will shave his head. That is a promise.
No. Oh my God.
You can only imagine he loses and everybody's like, "Oh, Kurt, you gotta shave your head."
No, I don't.
I never agreed to this.
I
never agreed to this.
You rogue, Fredo Esparza. Well, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a bitchin' end of the summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
next show we'll be probably talking about who wins the mass match, and we might actually be actually talking after we attend Lucha Underground taping.
Yes.
So we might actually have more info.
That sounds great.
We'll talk to everybody at this show, at the Lucha Underground show.
At the Lucha Underground show.
And we're gonna sign it different names. Under different names, so they don't we can actually talk about it afterwards.
That's right. We'll sign a full those disclosure sheets or whatever under a name that's not legal, and just and people who signed the disclosure things, they should say, hey,
we'll have results for the 4 matches that we're going to end up watching.
Yeah, remember, did you ever watch the Charlie Brown cartoons when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Remember how Lucy would do that thing where she'd have the football and Charlie Brown would try to kick it?
Yeah, she'd move.
And then she said, Charlie Brown, like...
You're a moron.
She said, I have a sheet of paper here where I'm saying, I promise, by signing this, I will not yank the football away from you. And so she signs it. So he goes running, and of course she pulls the football away, and then she walks up and says something like, Charlie Brown, you fool, you forgot to have it notarized. You hear that, Lucha Underground?
Yeah, you know...
Now they're really not going to let us in.
Well, that's what I'm worried about if I send them an email. Because they'll know my email address. Or my name.
Nah. Well, if they don't let us in, we'll go to another Lucha show.
Yeah. Plenty of Lucha shows here.
That are more underground than that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So until then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see ya really soon. Take care.